hello. All right. I'm like, oh crap, I'm muted. Those 30 seconds go by so fast. Okay, hopefully some people will start joining in really soon here. Thank you so much, Courtney, for being here.
Yes, I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, we're gonna like wait a minute or two for the folks to come on in the room.
Okay, that sounds good to me.
I hate the awkwardness of lives. It's like, do I just start talking?
Embrace the silence. Silence is good. It's healing. I actually went to a life group yesterday where we had a guest speaker, and
Hmm.
she was talking about. She actually confirmed. I love silence. I absolutely love it.
Really?
Hmm But she was saying like silence is prayer, and I was like, you confirming
Mm.
me to not speak.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm praying right now.
I do that even in my like interactions with people. Like
Hmm
I fight against the need to feel the silence,
hmm hmm
I'm like, okay, I don't have to say words all the time. But it's like,
Mm-mm.
okay.
Because silence speaks. So much can be said in the midst of silence.
Yeah, you're right. See, that's why you're here, therapist. That's why you're here.
Girl, and that's another reason why I like silence. Everybody, be quiet.
I get it. I get it. Okay. All right. I think we have enough people on to go ahead and start. So
Right.
happy Monday to everyone.
Hello, hello.
Also happy Indigenous Peoples Day. It is a holiday to honor those who were here before the others came. Um,
The others.
so yeah, tonight I wanted us to have a conversation about something that I believe is so common, and I know the
Mhm.
title may have been triggering, but you're here, so I think many of us need this conversation. I hope that it blesses you. I have a special guest who, like, in my mind, we're like this in my mind, y'all.
Absolutely.
Happy that it's mutual.
Absolutely.
This is my friend. We met in Nashville. Mostly, like, I think we met online
I
first.
think so, yeah.
And we haven't hung out a ton, but like she's so dear to me. She's a dear sis. She is an author, a published author. She's a therapist. She's a speaker. She is a Black woman full of magical powers. I do though want her to introduce herself to share a bit more about who she is before we get into the conversation. So tell us who you are, Courtney.
I just feel like you just said everything. Outside of that, I'm a daughter that has a mother. Um, I'm a aunt. I love music. I love to laugh. I love to have fun. So yeah, I think you just kind of summed everything up. And I'll tell more about like my book at the end, but
Okay, cool. Cool. Awesome, awesome, cool. I was telling Courtney before we went live that I typically, when I have these conversations in this group, I typically like to pray beforehand, just because to me, though I call it an online healing community, it really is ministry to me.
mhm,
And I do always want to invite God's presence into whatever I do because um, of the nature of what we're doing and how delicate it is and how transformative it can be. Um, and in prayer, I really felt like God wanted to remind us all that we are who our families need. We are who our
mm,
families have been waiting for, and
mm,
that the pain that we've experienced, the trauma we've experienced. Though I do not believe that God made us go through trauma. I don't believe that
mhm,
He enjoys seeing us suffer, but I do believe that he causes all things to work together for good. And
Mhm.
because we are people of faith and because we are committed to following him, we get to hold on to that promise that he makes all
Mhm.
things good and he does all things well. So I want to remind you, those who are watching live and those who will hopefully watch the replay, that you are who your family has been waiting for. And I encourage you to stay committed to this healing journey and to stay plugged into communities like these so that you
Mhm.
have the encouragement, and the support and the resources to stay along the way and to have the endurance to stay on the journey in becoming. Um, so why I chose to have this particular conversation is because about 2 weeks ago, Courtney posted something on her Instagram story talking about how sometimes we can be the very thing that we hate, that we like, we've been hurt, but we become that person who hurts others, and how a lot of times we don't even realize we're doing that, but we've just built up all these walls and created all these different defense mechanisms, and we
Mhm.
just begin to spew out our own pain, not realizing that we're hurting other people. And because of where it's coming from, we need to show people grace, not so much excuse bad behavior, but
Mhm.
show people grace because we're all just figuring it out. Like, none of us know what we're doing. we're just we're just figuring it out. So
Mhm.
Courtney, firstly, what led you to share that post? And you can share more specifically because I don't quite remember all of it. Stories disappear 24 hours. So tell
Bless,
like about that story that you posted.
bless the Lord. I don't remember all of it. I say I'll post stuff and I'll write stuff and forget what I wrote. But let me see. I do remember like the context of the video. And what I was just talking about was pretty much in. Let me hold on. It's coming to me. Come to me, God. Come to me.
Yes, Holy
Um,
Spirit.
now I know what got me there. So the R. Kelly trial had came up, and
Mm,
the young lady who was one of his girlfriends, like who had went on the Gayle King show and all that kind of stuff. She came back and did another interview and said, that they lied, or that, and they
mm,
were coerced and they were taught, and people were like, oh, we don't believe you, and this, that, and the third. And so I started out talking about how abuse and what it looks like, and how you will do what your abuser says. Like, I don't understand why people don't understand that, but anyways, and I was just talking about how, don't judge someone else's stories if you don't know the truth. And then somehow, because they were talking about how she's a liar and a manipulator and things like that. And she has done some things that's been on the news and the media and stuff, like, that she's dealt or displayed some of the not so healthiest behaviors. And so, but when she got into that man's presence, she was 17 years old. That man was the leader of her. And she was mere a follower, a child whose brain wasn't even fully developed. And
yeah.
so yes, she is those things because now she has learned those things as survival skills. And so I was just talking about how we can easily become our abusers as a way to survive, our
Mhm.
environments as a way to survive. Yeah.
Can you talk about the science behind that? What is the psychology behind that our brains tell us to evolve into the very thing that hurt us? Like, can you make it make sense for us?
So I don't really think that. I think when you are in something long enough, you become it. And it's
Yeah.
not necessarily that you want to become it, but that's just what happens. So
Mhm.
it's just like many people don't know that they're in dysfunction until they go to somebody else's house and realize, oh, y'all don't yell, scream, and cuss to one another when y'all talk to each other, or when you get mad. Oh, this is not normal. So when you are in something, it's like when you're dating somebody. When you're dating somebody for long enough, people start, or when you're married for a long time, people,
Yeah.
you look alike.
Yeah.
And you start having the same characteristics and the mannerisms and things. And so when we are in environments long enough, we can easily become that. We can start saying the lingo. We can start moving and acting what our environment gives us. And I think that just happens naturally. It just
Hmm.
happens naturally. And a lot of times we don't even know, like I said, know that until we've come out of it.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that context about what led you to share that post, because we do see specifically when it comes to things like,
Mm-hmm.
domestic violence,
Mm-hmm.
sex trafficking, women who've been like extremely abused or exposed to some extreme environments, that it's easy for there to be some wishy-washiness in their character because of the trauma.
Mhm.
Let's link that to mother wounds. And I try to never take for granted those who are not familiar with what a mother wound is. So,
Mhm.
my definition is a mother wound is an emotional injury caused by a generational deficit between a mother and her child that creates self critical, codependent, controlling behaviors within a person. And there are all different types of ways that it shows up in each person. Um, and both men and women can have
Mhm.
mother wounds. And the truth is, we have mother wounds because our mothers have mother wounds. Like I said, it's generational. And until
Mhm.
someone stops and heals the pain, we just continue perpetuating it. And I believe that's what you're saying is when you're in an
Mhm.
environment and this is all you know, that
Mhm.
is who you become, right? So
Mhm.
wounded mothers then become mothers who wound.
Yeah.
Um, and that's what this conversation is about is am I the daughter? Am I becoming my
Mhm.
mother? Am I
Mhm.
becoming the person who harmed me, the person
Mhm.
who neglected me, the person who was emotionally unavailable to me, the person who possibly abused me? And when I speak, I'm speaking in general terms for people
Mhm.
who have been harmed by their mother.
Mhm.
Um, and it is so easy for us to place blame and say this
Mhm.
happened to me, this happened to me, this happened to me. But when do we start to say, oh wait, I am exhibiting some behaviors just like her,
Mhm. Mhm.
just like her? I know I've certainly had moments where I'm just like, hold up, I am talking, I'm sounding like my mama. I'm sounding like my mama. And in a lot of contexts that can be good, like
Mhm.
there are some
Mhm.
traits I would love to have with hers, right?
Mhm.
And there are others where I'm like, no, 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 no. We have to stop
Mhm.
that. That's not something I want to continue.
Mhm.
Can you share an example of something that your mom has passed? You're just like, oh, wait, I don't want that part.
Girl, how much time we got? I hope she's not on here. I mean, actually, if she can be on here. I really don't. I don't care. Um, so one of the things that's coming to my mind right now. Let me say this: like a few years ago, me going to therapy helped me realize. Actually, being in a very unhealthy relationship helped me realize that I was displaying traits of my mother, and I think that's what happens for so many of us is that. Um, we say we don't want to be like something or oh my family is like this and I don't want to be like this, but we don't have the tools not to be like that. So all we're doing is saying I don't want to be, I don't want to be, I don't want to be, and then you're put in a situation and you like, oh snap, this is who I am. And so but one thing that's coming to my mind like with regards to my mother is like there she often is like I don't care, I don't care, I don't care, and that's a statement that I've taken on, and I've had to like pay more attention to that because like I do care. Now some stuff I don't care about, but a lot of times when I'm giving that response it is with regards to something that I care about, and a feeling needs to be placed there, an emotion needs to be placed there versus saying I don't care. And so that's one thing, but it's so many other things. I'm
Yeah.
wearing her face right now, and I keep looking at myself.
Yeah, yeah. I totally relate to. For me, it is, I have to be very, very intentional about this because it's a trait that I despise.
Hmm.
Um, and it's the need to control certain things. And when that
That's another one.
and then when it comes to like my interactions with the people, I have to be very, very, very careful, because it comes from my mom, um, and people who are controlling it shows up in different ways, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
It shows up in different ways. For my mother, it's the need to control people's perception, right?
Mhm.
So it's like I need for you to think of a person or a situation a certain way, and if it's not in
Mhm.
the way that I think, I'm gonna have to, switch some things or say certain things to encourage you to believe it a certain way. And for me, it's like I can be very careful. Like, oh, let me not. I don't want to say this because if I say this, that means they're gonna think this. And I have this
Mhm.
whole situation in my mind where I have gone 3, 4 steps ahead of myself and the other
Mhm.
person and created
Mhm.
this entire scenario that does
Mhm.
not exist, may never
Mhm.
exist. But
Mhm.
I make a decision for that person. right?
Mhm.
That
Mhm.
then adjusts what I may have wanted to say, right?
Mhm.
Um, and it's so aggravating because I'm just like, why do I do that? And the truth is, for me, it's a root of fear, right? I mean, it's
Mhm.
rooted in fear. The root of it
Mhm.
is fear. I'm
Mhm.
afraid of something. I'm afraid of their response,
Mhm.
possibly. Or my mom does it all the time, where I'll
Mhm.
say something, I will observe something, like just
Mhm.
objectively, right? I will observe something. The sky is blue. Well, if in my mind, if in my mother's mind, that statement is a negative statement, the sky is blue,
Mhm.
she's going to say, well, it's not really blue. See, the sky is, I
Mhm.
mean, it's a couple, there's several things that make and she just tries to reason it out. And it's like,
Mhm.
this is a very objective statement. I feel how
Mhm.
I feel, and I said
Mhm.
the sky is blue. That's just what it
Yeah.
is, right?
Mhm.
But if it does not, if that statement doesn't align with what she believes or what she believes I should believe,
Mhm.
right, she's gonna change things. And I tend, to like I have to work very hard not to exhibit that behavior, right? Because that can roll into some other stuff that's
Mhm.
very toxic.
Mhm.
Like that's
Mhm. Mhm.
extremely toxic.
Mhm.
And that's been a part of my journey over the years, is like learning to speak my truth, to stand in my truth, to be authentic, not worrying about external factors. Like, come
Mhm.
what may, feel how you want to feel about it. This is just where I am,
Yeah. Yeah.
and having to adjust to that in real time can be very, very tricky, depending on the situation. And I'm sure you guys who are listening have tons of examples. Um,
Yeah, I was gonna
um,
say, put in the comments what are your mother wounds? Like, what do
yeah.
y'all deal with? Because I feel like some of us may even like deal with the same things, like you said, like control or another thing for me is like and I don't really do it as much, but I can find myself doing it, like just dwelling in the negative, um, or pushing people away, So I think so many of us display those same characteristics and we feel like we are alone. So if you feel like, what are the things that you do? And the first step is to admit it. Don't be out here, I'm not my mother. When I was in therapy, I had to say, child, this is who I am. I am my mother's I am my mother's daughter. And I think some a part of that too was I remember one therapy session, I was on my way to work and I was in the car driving on the interstate and I said to her, like, I just have to accept that this certain behavior is who I am and
Yeah.
this is who I'm going to be and it's not going to go nowhere and whoever's going to love me and whoever's
Yeah.
going to be in my life, friend, family, romantic partner is just going to have to, lean into that.
Mhm. Yeah. And for those who are commenting, please allow StreamYard access so that we can see your names. Because we're on StreamYard, we can't see who's commenting. Someone is very interactive. We just don't know who you are. um, but yeah, I love that so much with the acceptance, and it's so powerful because it takes the shame out of it, right? It's like it
Hmm.
removes the shame of whatever that thing is, and it grants us the power and the authority over it,
Hmm.
and the grace to overcome whatever that thing is. So, do you think that it is inevitable for someone who is abused or neglected to become someone who then abuses or neglects someone?
I think what's going to happen is either you're going to become that person, you're going to carry characteristics of that person, or you're going to go the complete opposite, and you may attract those type of people into your life. Or let me not even say attract. You may keep those type of people in your life
Yeah,
because they become familiar to you in a comfort zone, but you may like run completely from that person or characteristics, let me say, of
hmm,
behaviors as a protective factor, but in turn you may start like pushing people away or not
yeah,
having close connections or friendships because you can't trust, you know, your experience that you had.
yeah.
So for me, it's one of those three things. You're going to completely become, you're going to carry the characteristics, or you're going to run away and then have people in your life that resemble that.
Yes, yes. I've seen that. I think we've all seen that play out over and over and over and over and over,
Hmm.
right? There's this long lost meme or post. It's super old that predates Instagram and Facebook. But it's like there are two sons who had an alcoholic father,
Hmm.
and they grow up, right, and
Hmm.
one is an alcoholic, the other is not, and the other says, one son says, "Why did you become an alcoholic?" And he says, "Well, because my dad was." And the
Mhm.
other one says, why did you not become an alcoholic? He says,
Because my
because my
dad was.
dad was.
Yeah.
Right. And we see that play out over and over and over and over.
Mhm.
And I think the difference in the two is the difference in emotional intelligence versus emotional maturity. And I
Mm.
want to get into that a little bit. But first, I want to acknowledge this comment that says, I definitely caught myself manipulating the situation or my response based on the other person's reaction or possible reaction.
Mhm.
Yep.
Yep.
Yep. That's real. That's real. Because there's this, like, again, like it's a fear thing, which goes back to our need to be accepted, because maybe
Mhm.
we didn't feel accepted growing up, or our need for validation, our need
Mhm.
for agreement. We just can't have
Mhm.
no conflict or controversy because we can't lose, or we can't live with the idea that someone disapproves of us, or
Mhm.
someone sees us in a negative light, or the list goes on and on and on and
Mhm.
on. So it's like, let me control what I can control,
Mhm.
which is why a lot of folks with mother wounds have anxiety when it comes to uncontrolled or unpredictable situations.
Mhm. Yep. Absolutely.
I need to be able to control my perception, my image,
Mhm.
all the things. So I relate to that. But like with that example about right the alcoholic dad and then one son who turns to the alcoholic, the other son who doesn't for the same reasons.
Mhm.
Um, One thing that Holy Spirit has been dealing with me about is emotional maturity and moving from a place of awareness to application. Because it's like, all
Mhm.
right, you're aware of it, right? And I
Mhm.
think we do that with this whole, I mean, this is who I am. Like, that's just it, right? Like,
Mhm.
period, point blank. That is awareness. You
Mhm.
you you spot maybe a not so amazing trait that has been passed down generation after generation. You find some toxicity within yourself and
Mhm.
you accept it, right? The
Mhm.
first step, you accept it. But then we stop there and we just part and live there.
Yeah.
But I think the difference in emotional intelligence and maturity is then getting the tools and the resources to then apply
Yeah.
that knowledge in a way that benefits us and moves us beyond awareness into, or moves us beyond emotional intelligence into emotional maturity. Like
Yeah.
I should be handling situations differently as I heal. I should be responding to people
Mhm.
differently as I heal. It shouldn't just be like, well, this is who I am. So just, accept it or leave it. And in some things, it's just gonna
Mhm.
be what it is,
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
Some
But I
things,
think
go
to
ahead.
to speak to that too, it's also thinking about like who are the people that I'm around that I say that I love? And if this behavior is hurting them, then it's also in turn hurting me. So how much do I say I love myself and these other people that I want to say whether or not I want to change this behavior or work to change this behavior or do something different with regards to this, you know?
Yeah.
Um, but if you're a little sassy, that's your personality and that's okay. But if you're out here like disrespecting people, now that's a whole different thing.
Yeah, yeah. I love this comment that says, this is so relatable. My struggle is being a mom while having a mother wound. It's been challenging trying to parent in a more healthy way while also healing from toxic parenting.
Mm-hmm.
This is so powerful because I think people like me who, single, no children, are in a unique situation because I came into the awareness of this and began healing it without having children. But the majority of people realize they have a mother wound when they start parenting, when they have children, because they realize, oh snap, there's a cycle here. And I think it's a powerful way to also heal your inner child through parenting your child in a more loving and gentle way. And I think it takes a ton of courage. I commend parents, specifically those who have unhealed childhood trauma. I commend parents who just try their best. Because it's tough. It's tough, right? You're trying to make sure you don't break this precious child, this precious human, while also, handling yourself with care. I think though, and I'm going to let you respond to this comment, but I think
Mm-hmm.
though, one, is having grace for yourself,
Mm-hmm.
and also extending a ton to your child, and standing in the truth that you are trying to give your child like the very best. Like you
Yeah.
having this awareness says so much, it's
Hmm.
like you're saying, I am trying to parent in a healthy way. I am trying that awareness is so beautiful. So I hope that you would free yourself from the shame and the guilt and then just continue moving forward in your own healing and accept that as you parent in a healthy way, that you are healing yourself. Like that is how
Hmm.
you are healing your inner child. What would you say to that, Courtney?
What I would say to that too is definitely give yourself grace and be kind to yourself. So, I don't have any living children, but I am a very, very involved auntie, and they think they're my kids. Um, Gotta have a conversation. You don't belong to me. But but I do parent them, and I have parented them. Is that the right word?
Yes.
Since they've been here, like literally. So they're all different ages, but I have been a very, very active part of their life. And so here recently, I was having a conversation with my best friend, and I have been so upset with myself because I have found myself yelling at them, and I don't like that. But I also
Mm,
recognize that is coming from an environment where it's a little bit of chaotic, where I have since removed myself from that chaotic environment. Um, they are in that, and so they respond to
yeah.
chaos. If I say, "Hey, chill out, calm down. Hey, what's wrong with you? Do you want to talk?" They're not trying to hear that. But when I start escalating my voice, then they get a response. But that hurts me. And like
Yeah.
I remember being at work, like last week, I think it was, like boohoo crying, like
Wow.
talk to my best friend, and something that she shared to me that I would share to that comment is that you are a human trying to parent a human. That is not easy.
Yeah.
That is hard. And the thing about kids, so two things. Kids have uncontrolled emotions. They are supposed to have uncontrolled emotions.
Yeah.
That's how they live, that's how they were made, that's how they were created. We're supposed to help guide them. Here's the thing. If you have been through abuse or trauma or anything that has impacted your brain development. So here's the thing. Our brain is fully developed at 21 to 25 years old. I think that may research can change that. I feel like it may have changed over time, but that's normally what it is, right? 21, 25, between that age. So imagine being 8, 9 and dealing with abuse. Everything that is attacking or everything that is supposed to be helping you develop is under attack. So you may be a 25-year-old woman or man trying to parent a child, but you're really 16 because that's
Mhm.
where your brain development is at. So you have to give yourself grace for what you did not know and what you are trying to learn. You're a human parenting a human. Um, and so I actually started out my social work career doing parent education. And something that I learned in the technique that we used was beautiful because when we were doing parent education, it never focused on the child behavior. It focused on the parent first. Let's go back in your
Mm.
history. Who taught you this?
Yeah.
So you're doing this to your child. Who taught you this? And it was always transformative when parents started addressing their own things first. And we would give them different techniques with regard to how to handle their child, but they had to reparent themselves.
Mm. That's why this work is so important. It's so crucial because it starts with us. It
Hmm.
starts with us. We cannot change our mothers. We can't change our children, right? But we
Hmm.
can do what's best for us. And
Yeah.
then when we change this right here, it shifts everything moving forward. So our
Hmm.
kids, our kids,
Hmm.
kids, our kids, kids,
Hmm.
kids will
Hmm.
experience, the benefits of the healing work that we did. And that's why I'm such an advocate for inner child healing,
Hmm.
because it's not just changing us, it's changing the bloodline. It
Yeah,
is
yeah.
changing the bloodline.
And something else I would say too is like you're a human being, you're not a perfect person. So if you make a mistake, if you do something that you feel like wasn't appropriate while you're engaging or parenting your child, then you teach your child what to do when you make a mistake. And I think one of the
Yeah.
biggest problems that we have is that people, our parents, millennials parents, and even our parents have a accountability issue because it is wrong to be imperfect. It is wrong to make a mistake. So I can't apologize to you because I can't be seen as wrong. But one of the ways to reverse that and change that is when you're wrong, tell you I was wrong. I shouldn't have yelled at you. Me and my niece and my nephews. I took them out to eat. I got upset with my oldest nephew, and later on, we realized that I was wrong. We both realized at the same time, actually, that I was wrong. And immediately, I was just like, I am so sorry. I don't even know why I responded the way that I did. It was unacceptable. I apologize. I'm sorry. I didn't even see that there. That is my bad. You do it immediately. Or if you need
Yeah.
some time, just be human. Be human because they're
Yes.
human. They are going to be in relationships
Hello.
that's going to have friends that's going to have to go to somebody's job. So show your children accountability because our parents and our grandparents and they don't have it.
Yes, I love that. I love that so much. I love that so much. I feel like now that you're saying that, it's making me make sense of parts of my journey, because I feel like in the past year and a half, I think did I did I text you this? Maybe it wasn't you, but I feel like I've been on an apology tour. Like I
Yeah, we
feel
were
like
talking about that because
that
we
was
both were
you.
like, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's like I feel like I've just been up. I'm like, what is? Am I just? I'm just the wrong one, huh? I'm the one in the
Hmm.
wrong. I'm like, Holy Spirit will drop someone in my spirit from years ago. I'm talking about years ago, and like they'll keep coming to my mind, keep coming to my spirit,
Hmm.
and Holy Spirit just keeps saying, "Go make it right, go
Hmm.
correct it." And I'm like, did I do something wrong? I'd literally be like, did I do something wrong? Because I'm not wrong. And Holy Spirit is like, go make it right.
Hmm.
And I think that it has been it's been like training for me, because now after this apology tour, it just becomes easier, right? It's like,
Hmm.
okay, I made a mistake, I can own
Hmm.
it way quicker and much better now, than I
Hmm.
used to be able to, and apologize, because like you said, it's not so much that I think the quicker we apologize, it normalizes the recovery time. It normalizes like
Mm.
reducing that, like get rid of that offense, right? It's just like, okay, you know what, I messed up, and I understand that when we mess up, we don't always get the same access back. I understand that
Hmm.
there are
Hmm.
consequences, right? But
Absolutely.
it's like, let's just normalize apologizing and making things right. Like, let's
Hmm.
normalize accountability. I also have an example with my niece, who, man, it was I think 2 years ago, well, one year ago, almost exactly 1 year ago, I took her, me, my mom, and my niece and my grandma, 4 generations of Libras. All of our birthdays are
Bless your
this week.
heart. I love Libras. That's why we like this.
Yes. So like my niece's birthday is the 13th of October, mine's the 14th, my mom's the 16th, and my grandma's 16th. So long story short, last year we went to Destin to the beach. And my niece was so happy because it was just her. None of her siblings came with her. She got
Hmm.
all the time. She was the spotlight, right? It was all good.
Hmm.
We get back and her brother and sisters are just like, what about me? So I'm trying to give them some time. Now that we're back, her
Hmm.
birthday is over. Now I can give TT time to the other ones, right?
Hmm.
Oh, she had a fit. She had a fit. Like, why are you, my TT, talking to my siblings, And she just got all bratty and she flipped out. And when she flipped out, I flipped out. Because I'm just like, you got some nerve after this whole weekend that you've had,
The
at the
audacity.
beach. The audacity. So she started crying and I snapped. Weeks later, it dawned on me, like, you know what? You did a little bit too much with this toddler. Like, go back and
Hmm.
apologize. And again, it time had moved on. She was
Hmm.
laughing again, right? But I still felt the need to go back, because
Hmm.
these are the moments and the
Hmm.
memories that adults have that
Hmm.
keep us stuck in our development, arrested because we had a
Hmm.
moment at 5 years old or a moment at 7 years old where someone didn't handle us with care, and it changed something in our psychology, and it changed
Hmm.
the way we normalize behavior, or think that, okay, well, this is the right thing because my auntie yelled at me when I did this, so that means that this is
Hmm.
wrong and I can't respond this way. And it's like,
Hmm.
no, we're all having a human experience and we're all figuring it
Hmm.
out. So I think apologizing along the way is so powerful, because like I said in the beginning, we're all just figuring it out. We're
Yeah.
all just figuring it out.
Yeah.
um so when it comes to us, the wounded daughters, right?
Hmm.
Or the wounded sons, how do we begin to become aware that, oh snap, like I'm turning into the toxic one? Like, how do we find our blind spots?
That is a really, really good question, and I think it's also like a a complex question to answer. I feel like certain situations make us become more aware. We got to be open to it. It depends on what season we are in our lives, like I like I said, for me, I wasn't aware of certain behavior um that I was displaying from not just my mother but from my father as well, but like until this relationship that I was in. And I think
Mm,
that relationship that I was in also showed them the era of, but my parents were married at 18 and 19 years old. They had no guidance.
yes,
Um, we always joke around here. We always say that they're the only married couple in our family. They're not, but they kind of are. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? And so like they didn't have anybody helping them out and showing them along the way. And they didn't have anybody having conversations with them about like regulating your emotions and all these different type of things and what you should and should not do and yada yada yada. Um, so I think certain situations make you aware. But if someone tells you, hey, you're doing this, then pay attention to that. If
mm,
someone is if you get fired from a job for the same thing over and over, every job you go to, you get fired from that job. And it's for the same thing, somebody not lying.
hello,
Right. So like pay attention to that. But like I think a lot of times it's our situations and our environments that kind of pull that out of us. Or it could be like, hey, well, maybe you just decide one day you want to go to therapy or you want to get a life coach, and then you figure out why you can't set goals or why you are afraid to do certain things, and then your therapist is gonna start stirring the pot up a little bit, and then you may realize those things, right? So like I think our situations and our environments and our relationships kind of pull that out, but you have to be open to it. It hurts.
yes.
It absolutely hurts. You don't want to know that you that person.
I have an example of this. So one of the ways the mother wound showed up, and sometimes still shows up for me, is the tendency to cut people off. So growing up, I had one cousin who's like a brother to me,
Hmm.
who always told me this: "You always cut people off. You always cut people off. Let me talk." And it was only him that said it. And I had resolved in my mind that you just tripping. You just want to be right.
Hmm.
You just want to be heard. You don't want to listen to me. Shut up.
Hmm.
Right? All my life, up until up until 2018, and I'm in a group. We're at my house. We was at my house, and my friends checked me at my house. The audacity! We're at my house hanging out, and my friend just like loses it. Why do you cut people off? And she just went off, and I was like, "Whoa, wait a minute."
Hmm.
But like you said, you have to be open to it. And it was hard
Hmm.
because when she said that, then everyone else was like, yeah, you kind of
You
do.
do. Hmm.
Yeah. And I was like, all of y'all got a problem with me? Like, I was like, hold up. Y'all can leave.
But it makes me think about this pod. I'm sorry. Were you done?
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
So it makes me think about this podcast I listened to a long time ago. It's I always forget the name of the couple. I know the couple because I still follow them, but I always forget the name of their ministry. But there's a marriage ministry. But something that the wife said was that parents start teaching your kids that it's okay to make a mistake, like that you can be wrong.
Yes.
So when someone says that you're wrong, you're not like,
Yes.
me,
Yes.
I'm
Yes.
wrong. Like, yeah, you can be wrong. It's so like you're not gonna be right all the time.
And I feel like, and let me give further context, this particular behavior that I had, cutting people off, it came from the need to be heard because all my life I felt like
Hmm.
no one listened to me. All my
Hmm.
life I felt like
Hmm.
I was unheard and invisible. So
Hmm.
I'm going to force myself in the conversation because I'm going to make you hear me because my
Yeah.
voice is valuable,
Hmm.
that kind of thing. And also, another thing is a perfectionism, right? So when someone points out a flaw, it's like, whoa, I'm not perfect. Wait a minute. Whoa, you're messing with my core belief system because I have
Hmm.
to be perfect. because
Mhm.
that's where my value stems from. That's where my
Mhm.
worth stems from. I need for you and me to think I'm perfect because no one will accept me otherwise. Because I found that when I was just a regular human child, that wasn't good enough. So I've got to go
Mhm.
above and beyond. I've got to overachieve. So
Yeah.
you pointing out a flaw is very problematic for me and very triggering
Mhm.
because, hey, I've got to like have the perfect image, the perfect, like I got to be successful. Like I was voted most likely to succeed in high school. And I'm like,
Mhm.
well, duh, of course, because I've got to, right? Like this is who I am. Hello.
Mhm.
But that's all like, that's rooted in trauma.
Yeah.
And when I began to heal, it's funny because after that situation with, my friends confronting me, and let me say, especially if you're listening, I do appreciate that moment. I have told her multiple times since then, since 2018, like, I appreciate that. In the moment, I did not. But
Right.
hindsight, I absolutely do because it gave me the opportunity to grow. And fast forward some months, I was talking to that cousin who used to always tell me that. We were talking. He was like, yeah, I noticed talking to you is different now. Like you don't be cutting people off. You don't be cutting me off. I was like, thank you for noticing, bro. I've been healing. Like it meant so much because it's just like,
Mhm.
okay, I was open. My ego was bruised, but
Mhm.
doing the work, it does benefit your relationships. It
Yeah.
benefits everything. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Mhm.
It's like those kind of moments, it's hurtful. But we have to confront our inner
Mhm.
child and do the work to become better. To
Yeah.
yeah. So how do we, as we're talking about like, well, it's okay to make mistakes, it's okay to not be perfect. How did like can we give us some practical ways in like being gentle with ourselves and showing ourselves grace? Because like you said, we do have a culture of where accountability hasn't been a thing and we have to be perfect. We can't make mistakes. And we're, criticized so heavily if we do. Because a lot of us have critical parents, have
Mhm.
extremely critical parents who criticize everything.
Mhm.
I mean,
Yeah.
everything for
Yeah.
just for no reason. So how do we get to a place? Because it's like, okay, I get that, right? Show grace, cool, 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 cool. But that's just not normal for me, right? Like, so how do
Mhm.
we try to do that to show grace and be gentle with ourselves and others?
Yeah, I think, well, that's funny that you say and others, because I think we are more prone to be grace giving and forgiving to other people, even when we really don't know what it means because we can't forgive ourselves first. But the same thing that you will offer to somebody else, offer that to yourself. One of the things that came to my mind as you were talking was like, if you make a mistake or you feel hurt by something, or um, maybe you realize, oh snap, I'm becoming my mother, I'm displaying this behavior. Stand in that mirror and have a
Yeah,
conversation with yourself and forgive yourself. Write yourself a letter and do it every time. Every
every time.
time. Don't wait. Courtney, I'm giving you grace right now in this moment. Like so when I was sick, and I was so irritable. Y'all, I was sick for what, like 5, 6 weeks. Your girl was I was up out of here.
Can
But
we
there
just
was one
pause
day.
and give God the glory for your healing? Okay.
Hallelujah. Don't she look good though? Praise the Lord. Okay. But so I remember being like super, super irritable one day. And I don't like being irritable. Like I like to feel good, vibe high, whatever. But the reality of it is, irritability is a human emotion. I think we spend so much time trying to reject every emotion, but happiness is temporary. Stop chasing happiness. Allow yourself to feel all the emotions that you need to feel. But that particular day, when I was super irritable, I was texting my best friend, and she was just like, "You're sick." Most people who are sick are irritable. Like, and I was like, yeah, you're right. And then not only am I sick, like I'm confined to a room. I can't talk. Like literally, I couldn't talk because I had double pneumonia. So like having a conversation was the hardest thing to do. Um, yeah, your body is like, I'm trapped, save me. So of course you're going to be irritable. So give yourself grace, lean back and look at all the outside factors for whatever you're dealing with. Okay, so if your thing is like yelling, right, and somebody upset you and you started yelling at them, um what did they trigger you? And before you could take a step back to actually pause in a healthy way, did your child come out? The child that hasn't been heard yet, the child that feels like they have to protect themselves. Did that show itself first because of what this person said or did? Lean back,
Yeah,
analyze the whole situation, and then give yourself, like, just talk to yourself. Yeah, you shouldn't have done that, but next time I'm gonna do better. Tomorrow's a new day. So I got a new point system with my nieces and nephews. Every week we start fresh though. So if you lose all your points this week, that don't mean, oh, next week you're not gonna get any more points. No, we're gonna start fresh every week.
that's good. Oh, I love that. I love that so much. I admittedly struggle with this, with giving myself grace. And like you said, it's so easy for me to do that with others, for
Hmm.
others. It's been very hard to do it for myself. And what I've done recently is implemented the self-talk thing, because what I do know is negative self-talk. And
Hmm.
to say stop negative self-talk, okay, great, cool. How do you do that though?
Hmm.
And for me, it's just been balancing out with negative, with positive self-talk or
Hmm.
positive reinforcement. So even down to simple things, like I'll get so angry at myself for doing something wrong that was really simple. Like it can be the simplest mistake, y'all, like something so simple, even like maybe like accidentally dropping something, making something fall, or something. It can be
Hmm.
something so simple, and I will literally in my mind be like, you're so stupid, why'd you do that?
Hmm.
I will literally pause and check myself, like, first of all, it was a mistake. I didn't mean to do it. And I
Right.
will literally in the moment, because I used to like just do that unchecked. Like I would just like have these thoughts and
Hmm.
like,
Hmm.
I'm like, why? Like you just can't get it together, right? And I would just keep on like, yep, I can't, whatever. But now I'm like, whoa, 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 whoa. Like Elizabeth just said, you got to take every thought captive. And because
Hmm.
I have authority and power to manage my thoughts, I am going to take captive of that, cast it down, and
Hmm.
then implement something in place of it. No, I'm not dumb. I am a
Hmm.
human that made a mistake. If I knew better, I wouldn't have done that, right? Like there was
Hmm.
nothing in me that purposely made this mistake. The next
Hmm.
time we're going to be more careful. The next time we're going to do some things, that prevent this from happening, some preventative measures. We're going to do all we can the next time. But right now, we cannot go back and undo whatever I just did. And furthermore, there were not even any negative implications, anyways. It's like this isn't affecting anybody. Relax,
Hmm.
relax.
Chill out.
So, chill. So I
Hmm.
literally have to talk to myself like, nope, we're not going there. We're not
Yeah.
going there. We're not. I love that. Take every thought captive. And I encourage you to do the same thing and talk to yourself. I think there's so much power in talking
Hmm.
to ourselves. And we think it's like, oh, like I'm all about affirmations, confessions. And for some people, it is weird. But I'm like, you've been talking to yourself a long time. It's just been negative.
Hmm.
Do the same thing in a different way. You'll be all
Yeah.
right. It feels uncomfortable, but like you'll be all right. We've got to confront those patterns, those thoughts, those ruminating thoughts. That all the things. Can you
Yeah.
talk about ruminating thoughts for a second? I don't want to get too therapy-ish over here, but like, can you speak to that for a quick second and why it's so important for us to like speak positively to ourselves?
Yeah, because so like, well, let me, before I speak to that, let me say this, because we were talking about like speaking to ourselves, but writing
Yes.
is also a powerful thing. Like people don't like to write, but when you put pen or pencil to paper, you are activating your brain, and your brain is
Mm,
literally responding to whatever you're writing down. So like, if you have a bad day, write that, tomorrow will be a better day, or I'll make a better decision tomorrow, or whatever. And because it's just like, so y'all know when y'all would get in trouble back in the day, they don't do this no more, but they give you write-offs. And
yes.
the purpose of the write-offs were to embed in your brain not to do this behavior again. That didn't work. But it cramped your hand. That's probably why I got arthritis. I didn't have write-offs like that, but I'm the same. Um, but like it didn't help. But the purpose of them doing that is, if you write it down over and over and over and over and over, your brain is going to receive it.
Yes.
Right. So like putting pen to paper is very, very powerful. But like, so What you say to yourself matters. What others say to you matter. That's why when if you made a mistake and you dropped something when you were a child and you got called stupid, so now you drop something as an adult and you call yourself stupid and it just comes naturally. Imagine how many times you were called stupid for making a mistake. So that's why it's there. But so if you can take that and I made a mistake, it's okay. I made a mistake, it's okay. I made a mistake, it's okay. Your brain likes repetition.
Oh,
Your brain loves repetition. Like, and I always tell my clients, your brain is a powerful muscle. All that trauma that you went through, you know, all of it's not just going to go away, but you have the power to reframe and reform.
yes. Oh, I
And
love that.
so you have the power to reframe and to reform. So if I make a decision that I'm going to, every time I think a negative thought, I'm going to stop and say a positive one, your brain is catching on to that. Oh,
Mm,
we got a new exercise going on that's going to give us something different. And so you're going to be more likely to pay attention to when you are
yes.
speaking negative about yourself. So I
I
don't know if that
love
answers
that.
your question, but
No, it does. It does. We do have the power. And I think that's really what I want us to go away with is knowing we are so much more empowered than we think we are. We are
hmm
not victims. We are not victims. These things happen to us and we have the power to overcome them and to create something new,
hmm
to create a new reality for ourselves, for our
hmm
children, and for all that's to come.
hmm
And I think we owe it to ourselves to heal. We owe it to ourselves to give our brain something new, to give
hmm
our soul something new. I do believe that God really wants to bring us into full recovery.
hmm
Please let me encourage you. This journey can be very discouraging.
hmm
Um, there's so many ups and downs, hills and valleys, highs and lows. But there is a place where God brings us into full recovery. No,
hmm
there is no there. There is no final
hmm
destination. But I do believe that God, Jehovah Rapha, wants to bring us into complete
hmm
healing. He
hmm
does heal the wounded. He does.
hmm
He's a man of his word, and that is in his word. So we have to take hold of that and truly believe, align our faith with what God has already said. He's already
hmm
said it and
hmm
truly believe that God delights in healing us. He delights in delivering us from our afflictions, and that's not just physical. That is the traumatic stuff in our soul realm. That's the psychology stuff too. He delights in giving us victory over anxiety, over
hmm
childhood wounds, over depression, over ADHD, over these things that have been have found their root in childhood trauma. He delights in healing us from those things. So please be encouraged knowing that there is better ahead, that there is a moment where you get to. I was sharing in the group last month, like healing happens in moments. You'll have
hmm
these scenarios where you say, oh man, I responded differently. Or, oh man,
hmm
the old me wouldn't have done that. Or the old
hmm
me would have done this. I didn't do
hmm
that. Like please be very intentional about writing those moments down,
Yeah.
or marking those moments of victory where you get to say, I am overcoming,
hmm
I am
hmm
healing. God is doing something new in me. God is delivering me. I do have a testimony. I am victorious.
hmm
Repeat those things because this work is hard, but it's powerful and it's rewarding. It
hmm
is rewarding.
Yeah.
Keep on healing your inner child. So,
Yeah.
what is your final note for us? Because sis, you've been preaching now, especially that part about emotions and the feeling all the emotions. Like we can't just reject everything but happiness. Like we got to
Mhm.
take it all as it
Yeah,
comes.
because we're human, and that
Yeah.
God wants us to feel all of those emotions. I mean, He talks in the Bible about anxiety, so it's okay for us to be anxious, and He can't
Yes.
help us through our anxiety if we was never anxious. So stop trying to reject those feelings, but accept those feelings and learn how to move through them. Um, but as you were talking, what came to my mind is I have a friend, love her dearly, but my girl is always like trying to fix herself. And so one
Mhm.
day, for the longest, I didn't say anything. But one day I was like, baby girl, why you treat yourself like you a science for? Like, why are you always trying to fix yourself? Like, if you're gonna give yourself grace for anything, And everybody listen to me. If you're going to give yourself grace for anything, give yourself grace to be human. You are not perfect. You're going to fall short and make a mistake. So every time you fall short and make a mistake, don't do what your mother did. Whatever it looked like, whatever that discipline looked like, don't beat yourself up for that. I made a
Yeah.
mistake. It's okay. I can move forward. Stop trying to constantly look for mistakes. Stop trying to constantly, oh, I need to fix this, I need to fix that, I need to fix this, or I gotta hear you do this, I gotta hear you do that. It's just like like you said, healing comes in moments, and we're constantly changing. So what you need
Yeah.
to fix in this season may not be the same in that season. But
Yeah.
lean back, get out of God's way. Even He don't need your help to heal you. You just got to be open and willing.
First of all, you can just calm down, okay?
He don't need our help. Like,
First of
he
all,
does not need our help to heal us.
you're
He just
attacking
needs
me a little
he needs
bit.
our obedience. He needs our
Yeah.
obedience. He needs our willingness, but he don't need our help. That song, what's I it's losing my, like, 3,000 songs is coming in my mind right now. Um, but like, oh, I'm gonna have to post it in the comments later because it's just on my heart, but the words won't come out. Like, but like, for your glory, I will do anything
Yeah.
just to see you. Like,
Yeah.
I will step out of your way and do what you want me or need me to do. I gotta stop trying to fix my mother. A part of your healing journey is not to fix your mother. A part of your healing journey is to focus on yourself. You learn to respond differently. You learn to make better decisions, because the healing for her may come in your changed behavior.
Mm.
When you respond to her differently from how she will respond to you, that could heal her.
Yeah. Okay, you're getting in my business at this point, and I'm getting uncomfortable. So we're gonna have to end this live.
It's time for me to go sleep. My eyes is like real closed. I got little cheek eyes anyway, but child, they fighting
Man,
me.
this is powerful because, man, it's interesting you say that song because in the past 2 3 weeks, that's been the song that I just keep repeating because it's been a hard season for me, and not in like it's been a refining season and the refiner's
Hmm.
fire, that kind of thing. And I keep reminding myself, for your glory, I'll do anything, across the hottest desert, right? But in my mind, it's like I'll do anything. I don't think of that doing being the just relaxing, right?
Because rest is a part of your healing journey. Getting out the way is a part of your healing journey. Like, you can't go to the gym and work out every day of the week for hours at a time. I got a little excited when you said that
No,
because
this is
you gotta know
good.
when to take a. So I remember having a trainer, um, and she was saying you gotta give your muscles a chance to rejuvenate.
Yeah.
You gotta relax.
Yeah.
Give your heart a
I
break.
love
Give your
this
soul a
because
break.
and I actually did this intentionally slash unintentionally this past weekend. I went to Atlanta for the weekend to celebrate my birthday early. And I said, you know what? I have these moments where I'm like, I'm tired of healing. I'm tired of it. Give me a margarita. Give me some chips and salsa. Give me a comedy show, a concert. I don't want to do nothing about no working on myself. I just want to be, you know.
Hmm.
And I sometimes, be extra with it. But like that's so good. Like we have to rest. We can't just be in fight mode all the
All the
time. We
time.
have to give ourselves a moment to just chill and
Hmm.
be intentional about that. Budget it in your mental space, right? In your time. Budget in that time to just be. I think that's so
Hmm.
powerful, Courtney,
Yeah.
because I think we honestly, now we can't. You done got me stirred now,
I'm
Courtney.
sorry.
What we end up doing is we go from like I'm trying to heal. Okay, let me just not say we. Let me say me.
Hmm.
I'm trying to heal the perfectionism in me. But what I
Hmm.
do is I get so focused on healing it that I have to heal it perfectly. And now
Hmm.
I'm just re-entering a cycle of the same trauma. It's like, sis, there is no perfect healing journey. That's the whole
Hmm.
reason you're on this journey in the first place, sis. you
Hmm.
know? So that's powerful. And I
Hmm.
appreciate that. The rest is a part of the healing journey too.
Hmm.
I love
Hmm.
that so
Hmm.
much. Okay, sis. we got to go. Thank you guys for coming, but I do want you to share what you're working on, how we can support you, how we can align with all that you're doing. Also, tell us if you are accepting like out of network clients, like people that can maybe, come to you as a therapist virtually, out of pocket kind of thing. Let us know if you're accepting clients.
So at the moment, I'm not accepting clients. Probably in the next month I will be though, but I'm only licensed in the state of Tennessee as of right now. But I will be adding on coaching services soon, so you can go to CourtneyRLC.com, or I have a link tree. It's on my Instagram page. I should have put my. Can you spell my middle name, or can you put that up there like Courtney Arlesia for me? Um, but you can join my mailing list to be updated when I do life coaching, and that way you can
That's your is that your Facebook?
that's Facebook and Instagram. So I think Instagram is Courtney.Arlesia. Um, but when you can sign up for that mailing list, and you can be in the know when I do life coaching, and I don't have to be licensed in whatever. But so, and then also I have a book called Glow Up Sis Glow Up, and you can, I'm sorry, y'all, I'm echoing, so it's kind of, you get it at CourtneyArlesia.com. You can get it at Amazon. I also am a writer, so I have, and like I said on my link tree, you can go to my Medium account. Y'all read my blogs. I really, really need that right now. Read them, share them, comment on them, subscribe to them, clap for them. That would be really, really appreciative. That would be your love offering to me for sure. If you were to do that. So,
Also, speaking of love offering, last thing, what is your cash app?
what is my cash app? It is C Clardy. So Clardy with the little cash symbol in front.
If you guys want to give, I would love for you guys to give because sis is dropping gems, okay?
Thank you. Thank you,
Dropping
sis.
gems. So please bless her tonight as she has poured into us and given us her time. So let's love on her. Let's go to her website, CourtneyArlesia.com. Let's buy the book. Let's subscribe to her mailing list. Let's follow her on Instagram and Facebook. And y'all, the girl is a clown too. Don't let her fool you. Like, so if you follow her,
Yo, and
prepare
see,
to laugh.
I wanted to cuss a little bit, and I was like, I'm not gonna do it. Not gonna do it.
Yeah, Courtney be having me weak all throughout the week. I promise you. I'd be like, what is wrong with you? I love it though because Courtney is a whole mental health therapist. Like she has real, actual, like live clients. And the way she be clowning, I'd be like, girl, you us.
I'm just me, and I think I posted this on Instagram yesterday. The best thing I ever learned was to become myself and be
Yeah.
me, because there's nothing wrong with me. I am who God made me to be. He made me goofy. He made like I love to laugh. Like if when you get around me and my family and my niece, we gonna be cutting up. Like that's what I love to do. I love to dance, but I because I started out with ministry and social work and stuff. And so like I spent so much time trying to conform because that's what other people, oh, don't cuss. Oh, now baby, I'm me. And so if a cuss word come out, I've been cussing since I was two. Y'all want me to stop?
I I asked Courtney, I said,
Be
can you
yourself.
I asked her to teach me because y'all, I
No,
can't I can't cuss save my life. It just don't come out right.
don't do it. Now I'm not gonna teach you something. Like I'm gonna teach you how to heal yourself. Don't like all right, y'all. We going to bed now. We sleepy. We're sleepy.
Girl, I love you so much.
I love you
Thank
too.
you. Oh, one last thing. This is
Mhm.
unrelated but related, but I just have to publicly thank you because last year around this time was when my life shifted completely, a total 180. And when I didn't know what to do next, I figured, well, I'm just gonna like just go back to school, you know?
Mhm.
And I thought I really did believe that Holy Spirit was leading me back to grad school to do what to follow this like mental health path, and I was just figuring it out. And I didn't know Courtney that well, but I reached out to her, like, could you give me some tips on like what I should do? what path should I take? Should I do sociology versus psychology versus what all the options? I was overwhelmed.
Mhm.
And she was so gracious to just talk me through it, not having
Mhm.
a ton of connection at the time, but she just talked me through it. She and Alicia McCullough, which is also another healing friend we have in this community who has shared with us before too. They just talked me through it, and though I've been figuring it out as I go, I do really appreciate that because people don't have to be kind. People don't have
Mhm.
to give you, their knowledge for free and to
Mhm.
share with you all that they know to help you along your way. So thank you for that moment.
You're
I have not
welcome.
forgotten it. I so appreciate you. And though I did not end up going to school because Holy Spirit had other plans, such as
Mhm.
this, it meant the world to me for you to be so kind.
Absolutely.
So thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, y'all. Well, please, like I said, this is her cash app. What? Who said? Wait, who said this? I can't see your name. Who said this?
It's freeing. It's freeing. And so actually research has shown people who cuss are less stressed. Listen, it's freeing. My clients come in, is it okay if I cuss? Are you grown? Let free yourself. But it's not for everybody, and that's fine, and that's okay. But like there has been research that shows that people who get off of
Listen.
you less
Well,
stress.
teach me, sis.
I'm gonna teach you how to cuss in Bible.
I promise you, I've been a little girl. I just can't do it. It just don't come out right. Like people don't take me seriously. I'd be like mad. I'd be like real mad. And cuss word, and they don't be moved. I'd be like, it ain't got the same effect as I want that Samuel L. Jackson effect. You know what I'm saying? Like people take me seriously. It don't work.
You look mean. I just be silly. So y'all, and another thing, so you can also support, like if I don't, make it as a amazing public speaker, I am going to take my show on the road and be a comedian. So look out for your girl. Just saying.
Wait, who said this? I wish I could see y'all's
Wait,
names.
why? Who? Okay, everybody got to go to bed
Go
now.
to
Y'all
bed.
are showing out.
Go to bed.
Everybody got to go to bed. You're showing out. You're showing out. I am
All right.
tickled.
I love you so much,
I
girl.
love you
And
too, girl.
I can't wait for us to do something else together. So until next time, y'all, good night. Love
Bye.
y'all.
Good night, y'all.